What is up, you guys? I wanted to come to you guys tonight with my Impact Wrestling review. So let's just get right into the show and talk about what happened tonight on Impact Wrestling. To start off the show, we had a three-way match with Chris Bay versus TJP versus Trey to see who will face Rohit for the X Division Championship tonight on Impact Wrestling. This was a pretty decent three-way match between Chris Bay, TJP, and Trey tonight on Impact Wrestling to see who would go on to face Rohit for the X Division Championship tonight on Impact Wrestling. This was a pretty decent match to start off the night for Impact Wrestling in this three-way match. This was a decent three-way match tonight. It was decent between Chris Bay and TJP and Trey from the Rascals to see what face Rohit later in the night for the X Division Championship. This was an alright to decent to okay match. It wasn't really nothing all that great. It was a decent wrestling match for what it was. It was alright. It was decent. There wasn't really anything to write home about during this match. It was just your basic wrestling match. Nothing really, nothing really big happened in this match. There was no big moves hit. It was just your basic wrestling match. That's pretty much what it was. But this was your basic three-way match down on Impact Wrestling between Chris Bay and TJP and Trey from the Rascals to see who will go on to face Rohit for the X Division Championship tonight on Impact Wrestling. This was an alright to decent match tonight on Impact Wrestling. There was really nothing to write home about during this match. It was a decent to okay match. It didn't wow me. It didn't really do anything for me. And Trey ended up picking up the win over Chris Bay and TJP, and then Trey would go on to face Rohit. Rohit would end up beating Trey within 2 seconds of the match. Rohit rolls up Trey for the win. 1, 2, 3. And Rohit retains his X Division Championship. And then we had Kimberly versus Susie. This was an alright match between Kimberly and Susie tonight on Impact Wrestling. This was a decent women's match tonight on Impact Wrestling between Susie and Kimberly. This was an alright match. I'm starting to grow on Susie a little. I'm starting to like her just a little bit. I'm slowly growing on her just a little. I want to see her go full, and I want to see her become Su Young. I want to see that. I want to see Susie become Su Young. I do want to see that. But this was an alright match tonight on Impact Wrestling in this women's match between Kimberly and Susie. This was an alright women's match. It was alright. It was decent for what it was. It was really nothing all that great. It was just your basic one-on-one women's match tonight on Impact Wrestling between Kimberly and Susie. And Susie ends up picking up the win over Kimberly in a pretty decent one-on-one women's match tonight on Impact Wrestling. This match didn't last long, about a minute and a half. This match didn't last that long. These women didn't get but a minute and a half at a that's about all they got tonight on Impact Wrestling was about a minute and a half. This match didn't last long, and Susie ended up picking up the win over Kimberly. And then we had the Deaners come down. The Deaners get taken out by Eric Young. Eric Young is one of the best heels that Impact Wrestling has right now, and I'll give him credit for that. Impact Wrestling has Eric Young, and Eric Young is one of their best heels in the company as of right now. But Eric Young takes out the Deaners. For what reason, I don't know. I don't know why Eric Young is taking out the Deaners. I just don't care at this time. I really don't care why Eric Young is taking out the Deaners. I just do not care. And then we have Sammy Callahan versus RVD. This was a alright match between Sammy Callahan and RVD tonight on Impact Wrestling. Sammy Callahan gets buried by RVD tonight on Impact Wrestling in their match. This match between RVD and Sammy Callahan tonight on Impact Wrestling was just, it was boring. It was slow. It was methodical. A lot of ground wrestling. This match was just boring. I didn't enjoy it. I mean, RVD is just, this dude needs to go. I'm sorry, but this guy needs to go. This guy cannot carry a match whatsoever. And RVD ends up burying Sammy Callahan when Sammy Callahan's one of your best talents on the Impact roster, and you buried him tonight. So I don't understand that. I don't understand why you would bury Sammy Callahan tonight. I don't understand why you would put RVD over Sammy Callahan. I don't understand that. When Sammy Callahan needs to win more than RVD does, I don't know why RVD needed this win. What it's going to do for him, I don't know. RVD has done pretty much nothing since he came back to Impact Wrestling. He's pretty much done nothing. So what is it? I don't know what this win does for RVD over Sammy Callahan tonight on Impact Wrestling. I don't know what this win does for him when RVD has pretty much done nothing. So there you go. RVD beats Sammy Callahan tonight on Impact Wrestling. And let's get right into the main event. Jordiana Grace versus Tennille Dashwood. This was the main event of Impact Wrestling. This was an alright match between Tennille Dashwood and Jordiana Grace in the main event of Impact Wrestling. This women's match was alright. It wasn't the best women's match I've seen. It didn't thrill me. It didn't wow me. This had a lot of methodical wrestling, a lot of chain wrestling. This women's match had a lot of chain wrestling in it. It was methodical wrestling, chain wrestling, a lot of just ground wrestling, which I don't enjoy. I can't get into. But this was an alright match in the main event of Impact Wrestling between Jordiana Grace and Tennille Dashwood. This was an alright women's match in the main event. This match was decent for what it was. It wasn't the best women's match I've ever seen, and it wasn't the greatest women's match I've ever seen either. It was a decent one-on-one women's match tonight in the main event of Impact Wrestling with Jordiana Grace versus Tennille Dashwood. This was an alright women's match. It was alright for what it was. A lot of chain wrestling, a lot of ground wrestling. This match was slow-paced. This match was very slow-paced. It really didn't do anything for me. I thought these two would go out and have a really good match. That was not the case. I thought Jordiana Grace would bring Tennille Dashwood to a great match. That did not happen. This match was slow. It was methodical wrestling, a lot of chain wrestling, which I don't enjoy. This match was just decent for what it was to be a women's match in the main event of Impact Wrestling tonight with Tennille Dashwood versus Jordiana Grace. This was a alright women's match, and Tennille Dashwood ended up picking up the win over Jordiana Grace in the main event of Impact Wrestling tonight. Overall, Impact Wrestling gets a 0 out of 10 from me. None of these matches were that great. I don't know what they're doing with Deonna Purrazzo. She's not being used on television. I don't understand that. I mean, she's your Knockout Women's Champion, and you're not using her for whatever reason. I don't know why you're not using her. I mean, Deonna Purrazzo is one of your best female wrestlers you got. I mean, Deonna Purrazzo is one of the best women you have on the Impact roster, and you're not using her to her strengths. You're not putting her on television. You're not using her in wrestling matches. You're having her just, stand around and hold the championship, which I don't understand why she's just standing around holding the Knockout Women's Championship. I don't understand that. When Deonna Purrazzo should be, wrestling in the ring, showing what she can do, but yet you have her just standing at ringside holding the Knockout Women's Championship. I don't understand that. I don't really get it. But Impact Wrestling overall gets a 0 out of 10 from me. This show tonight did nothing for me. The matches were blah. This show was not exciting at all. Eric Young was probably the best thing of the night tonight on Impact Wrestling, and I'll give him credit for that. But other than that, Impact Wrestling has nothing going for it right now. Impact Wrestling is just blah right now. They're not having any great matches. I'm not looking forward to it. This show tonight was just a 0 out of 10 for me. I did not enjoy it. The matches were blah. The best thing about tonight was Eric Young and his heel. Him being a heel is the best thing Impact Wrestling has going right now, and that's the truth. So, there you go. Overall, Impact Wrestling gets a 0 out of 10 from me. If you guys like this Impact Wrestling review, hit that thumbs up. It helps my YouTube channel in the YouTube algorithm. And guys, make sure you like, share, comment, and subscribe, and turn on that bell for all notifications. That way you guys won't miss an upload or a stream here on the channel. And I want to say thank you to everybody for your continuing love and support of the channel. I really do appreciate it. So thank you guys for your continuing overwhelming love and support of the channel. I really do appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for your love and support. Thank you guys to everybody that continues to subscribe to the channel, that shares my videos, that watches my videos, that comments on my videos. Thank you guys so much for doing that. I really do appreciate it. And guys, don't forget to share this Impact Wrestling review. So overall, Impact Wrestling tonight gets a 0 out of 10 from me. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this Impact Wrestling review tonight as much as I enjoyed bringing it to you guys. And I will see you guys later, man. This has been your Impact Wrestling review. This has been your Impact Wrestling review tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love you guys. You guys have a blessed night. Much love. I'm out, guys.